Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Two Asian Blokes Podcast, a podcast where we talk about Asian pop culture, films, TV shows, comic books, food, music, video games, whatever we're feeling at the time, really. My name is Dan with a H, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Tavi. Hello, Tavi.
Hello, Dan. We're up here for a bit of a late night recording.
Yes, sorry I am late. I was detained. I was busy watching the series finale of Neighbours with my brother.
Yes.
The end of an era, Tavi. People know what Neighbours is, right?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, if there's any British listeners, sure.
Right, yeah.
I think it was more popular over there.
Long-running Australian soap opera Neighbours.
Yeah, it's the kind of the gateway for many Aussies in the industry, specifically actors who want to get into the biz.
Yeah, that's where a lot of famous Australian actors got their start, right? People like Margot Robbie, Guy Pearce. I think
Kylie Minogue.
Kylie Minogue. Even the Hemsworths made a brief appearance in Neighbours, I think.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
A couple of my friends have been on Neighbours as well as extras. So yeah, it is definitely.
It's a lot of jobs involved in that TV show, so it is sad that it's finishing up. You ever watch Neighbours?
Not really.
Do you know who Toadfish is?
Toad, as in Todd. Is he like the? How would you slightly chubby guy?
Yeah. He's been around for a long time, and yeah, I think the series finale centered around his wedding. So that's
okay.
Like a lot of the Neighbours alumni came back for the wedding. So Guy Pearce was in a lot of the episode from what I saw.
Oh, really? Yeah, they spent a lot of money on him to come back. He's
I guess.
Big star. Guess they couldn't get Margot Robbie to come back.
Well, she came back via Zoom call. So because I was told that she was going to come back for this for the series finale, and I was like, really? And then at the end there was this Zoom call, and lots of of the old stars appeared on that Zoom call.
Was it them playing their characters, or just them saying hi? Sorry to hear Neighbours is going.
No, it was them playing the characters. So they were giving well wishes to Toadie via Zoom call, presumably.
Oh yeah.
I was watching it without the sound, so I got bits and pieces of it. But I think that's what was happening.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah,
she was probably too busy filming Barbie, so
yeah.
It's
I mean, it's good on her to at least make an appearance.
Yeah.
But yeah, there were a few people Jesse Spencer was there. Holly Valance made an appearance.
Holly Valance. That's
Kylie
right.
Minogue came back. All of them from what I saw, all that I could remember anyway.
Well, I guess all the Neighbours watchers have to shift to Home and Away now.
For now, I feel like that's ending soon as well.
Sure, they're icons, but there's not really much room for mediocre drama.
But then where are all the Australian actors going to get their start, Tavi?
I don't know.
Probably various streaming TV shows.
I think so. There's a lot of
New Gold Mountain 2 or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Season 2.
That Peter Hellier show, which I forgot the name.
Sure.
How to Stay Married or whatever. Okay. And then there's the
Lego Masters with
Lego Masters, Beauty and the Geek.
Sure.
The Bachelor.
I feel all we have is reality shows now. Do we actually have any scripted television anymore?
My favorite kind of television. I mean, the only one I've seen previews for was this one called Four Seasons. And it's just, I don't know, not my kind of television. It's very middle-aged white woman television, which is most scripted dramas. Otherwise, it's reality shows. I mean, on Prime, there's the Lux Sydney listings, which looks...
Oh, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen post ads for that. Yeah. It's just a bunch of real estate people, right? Real estate agents.
Yeah, I've seen a channel review it, and it just seems it's very shit. Just plain and simple.
Wow.
But
I got a soft spot for Neighbours, so we'll miss your Neighbours. Yeah, I feel like you did a lot for Australian television in your own way.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not really going to miss it that much, but I think I can't really deny that it launched some careers.
Yeah, for
not
sure.
like the show that we're going to talk about today.
I mean, he could launch some careers. It's still early days.
Yeah, it can launch the career of Billie Eilish, right? Yeah, you know.
Don't think she needs any help, but what show are we talking about today, Tommy?
We're talking about specifically Netflix Resident Evil, and like Netflix, I regularly defend on this podcast, but you make it very hard for me to keep defending you when you make garbage like this. I remember, what episode did we record? I think we were one of the episodes where I was saying like, Netflix, you know.
I think it was Spriggan.
Yeah. Like Netflix, you make some good stuff. Like, you know, you're not all bad. And then
well, you did have the parenthesis of most American-made Netflix stuff is not very good. Right?
Like, oh man, we originally were not even gonna cover this series because I was like, I didn't want to waste my time. Like, I didn't want to watch. Like, I watched this recently after watching Miss Marvel. I'm like, oh, do I have to spend another few hours watching a show that I don't like
well,
very
you got
much?
through this show surprisingly quickly.
It's like
I
watching
feel like
a train wreck.
you had an easier time watching this than you did with Marvel, which doesn't make sense to me because it's worse than Miss Marvel, like objectively worse.
It is definitely objectively worse than Miss Marvel, and I think by a long way as well.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. You know, I might not know the lore as much as like some diehards, but
Sure.
I love playing the games. I was playing Resident Evil 3 Remake before. If anything I got out of this series is, I should play some of the old Resident Evil games because they're actually pretty good.
I feel like the same thing happened when we watched Welcome to Raccoon City. And I guess that's the beauty of like even the bad Resident Evil properties is like they make us remember how good the good ones are, right?
Yeah. It's just like, but this show, it just hurts me so much more than Miss Marvel because Miss Marvel,
Spoiler
I kind
alert
of knew
for
what I was
Resident
getting.
Evil, the Netflix TV series, by the way. I don't think anyone's going to watch it, but there it is.
I think
Spoiler
anyone
alert.
who's done and watched it would have done it by now. But like, man, it's like I feel like this show was so like market tested that it just sucked the life out of it because like who was this made for, you know? Because it's not made for Resident Evil fans. Well, it kind of was, but no one who likes Resident Evil would like this show.
Sure.
Is it made for CW teens? Because like they're not gonna like some of the extreme violence that's on this show.
Yeah, it definitely feels like something that was made by committee, right? Like, just trying to like hit all the demographics, and in trying to do that, hitting none of the demographics.
But like, it hurts because they sunk so much money into this, and you can tell.
Some of it looks pretty good. Like
that's the thing.
Some of the creature
effects,
designs, and the effects are pretty good. Like, I mean, it is a pretty like dark show, and I'm not talking about tone. I'm talking about coloring. It's fucking pitch black at times,
really
so it's
dark.
really hard to see a lot of the effects. But like when they're good, they look pretty good. Like the lickers, the big caterpillar, the big alligator at the end. All those things look pretty good.
Yeah, they're big budget, and they spent obviously a lot of the music is licensed music,
which is baffling to me. Like, why are you? Why are they spending so much money on music from Billie Eilish
from like
and Sex Pistols and Halsey? Why?
And Espa is like K-pop. We were talking about that, like when you hear the K-pop.
Yeah.
Like you might have seen the YouTube, I think it's 2017, 2018 Rewind, where there's like a pretty like popular memes clip of a YouTuber named Casey Neistat who's just yelling K-pop.
Okay.
It looks very like just It's because he's like kind of old and awkward. He wouldn't be like the guy that listens to K-pop. But like, yeah, I just kept thinking that for that whole scene.
Yeah.
Just like these executives who are like, there's one thing that this TV series needs. K-pop.
It's like in the scene that it featured in as well is like this cool warehouse party where there's like a skateboard ramp.
Skateboard, like, oh, what? Kids skateboard, yeah. It reminds me of one of my teachers back way in 2006 or 2005, where you're like, you could, I think it was a project to make a storybook or something. It's like, you can make a story about skateboarding. It was whatever. And it's just like, it's very like old person trying to connect with the youth.
Yeah.
But this is like 18 years ago. And as executives, well, skateboarding, but with K-pop. And it's like, I was like, man, like the music to this show, while probably on its own is probably okay, maybe not music that I'd listen to, but like it's all right. But as a tonal like setting for a Resident Evil TV show, like what is this? Like it's horrible. It just
I mean, it can't be cheap either, right? Because it's a different song every episode.
Yeah. Fuck, man. I always want to use like licensed music in the stuff I make because I like to have my characters listen to like actual music, but we always have to go the other road and have to like I have to get riskier to like make a sound alike or something. And then there's like Netflix, like we can just buy music, Then well, you could have just like. Look, if maybe they'd focused on one timeline, 6 episodes, and chucked their budget on more special effects, I dare say. To be
more
fair,
zombies, I think it needed. Yeah. They needed like, more zombies in this show about zombies.
Yeah, but to be fair, like they didn't have a massive bar to reach in terms of stories, because like the Resident Evil story in the game is fucking bonkers,
Yeah. Right.
So
I think this story was sufficiently bonkers. I guess it could have been more bonkers, but...
I think the story is bonkers, but it's executed in the worst possible way.
Yeah, how did you feel about the 2 timeline situation?
It ruined the pacing. I preferred the future timeline more because more stuff happened.
I think for me it switched at some point. Like I was... Yeah, at the start I preferred the future timeline, but then somewhere towards the end I was like, I wanted to see what happened to Wesker, I guess.
Yeah, Lance Reddick is easily the best part of this show.
For sure, yeah.
Black Wesker is the best part of this show.
Yeah.
Wesker who's not Wesker,
Yeah, he's doing a decent job. Like
he does his best, man.
Yeah, with what he's got to work with. I mean, he's like when the reveal that he's got clones, like, and he starts having to act with different personalities, I like that. I thought that was pretty fun.
Because like you could believe that he was a different person.
When fucking Blade Wesker appears.
Blade Wesker. I think that's a like internationally recognized meme. Is that it's Blade Wesker.
But it's a bit of fun and it's a nod to the video game. Sure, why not? I like that they said he died in a volcano because that's what happens to him in the game.
Yeah, Resident Evil 5. He's going crash.
Yeah, and he's also white in that game, but it doesn't matter.
Like there are definitely nods to the game, but I feel like it's inauthentic.
Sure.
I don't know.
It is just name dropping, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't mind like the kind of reimagining of the world that they're in. I guess it's not really a reimagining, but it's like an imagined progression of the world. So like the game seemed to be set a little bit before this timeline, right? Because like they talk about they live in New Raccoon City, so presumably this happened like after the events of Old Raccoon City, which is the game stuff. And like Umbrella has kind of like they've continued their evil corporation ways, but like the world is all like fucked up but also like somewhat functional.
I think Umbrella is done all right. Like they're over the top evil corporation that just somehow doesn't have security for two girls to sneak into the facility. But you know,
it's all automated. Yeah, I mean,
they basically like they basically Home Alone their way into, you know, getting into the facility with a voice recorder. You know, because you can just do that, right?
Yeah, and they just they're able to unlock every door, including the one that contains like a deadly dog, infected dog. Sure, why not?
Why not? What do you think of our main characters?
I can't decide which version of them I dislike more. The future versions or the past versions, because they're both iterations are quite unlikable, which is not great for your main characters, is it?
No, it's not. I don't think I can remember a time where I wanted to see a protagonist fail so much.
Well, you must have been very satisfied with this show because she fails many times in this show.
Well, yeah, basically
every episode she's getting someone killed.
Yeah, they say it like it's the fucking Jade show and you get everyone killed. And I was just laughing during that scene because it's true. Like, you're a fuck up, and you absolutely. I'm just thinking now. You're absolutely right because I don't like. Because the protagonist is Jade. It really is the Jade show, and they're not fucking kidding.
Sure.
I feel like the writers were just maybe having a laugh at that point. But or they thought that was a strong moment, but it was so bad. But anyway.
And I think the acting as well is not that bad. It's just the characterization of these characters is very it's very angsty, and
Kid Jade is an insufferable twat. Like, she is unlikable to the nth degree.
Like, from start to finish as well.
there's a part when she gets home and she's yelling at Wesker. He's like, "Where were you?" He's like, "What? I was working." She just smashes his laptop. It's like, "Fuck you." It's like, what? He gets bullied by her, man.
That's typical dad stuff though, teenage girls.
But it's
but sometimes she's just rude for the sake of being rude,
She's just always like, oh, it's just it's. I don't talk about this that much on the podcast, and it's probably going to get me into a bit of trouble. But I don't really give a shit at this point because I'm pretty drunk. But there's so much wokeism in this show that it's ruined it, and I don't care if people like to watch that stuff in their own time and in their own shows. You do you. That's cool. But when it starts encroaching on the stuff that I enjoy, like Resident Evil, there's a problem, And it's just I feel like the writer who was writing Jade thought that she was writing a fucking messiah, this really tough, strong character. But she's just an unlikable fucking prick.
She's a bit of a prick.
Yeah, she's getting everyone killed.
It feels like the kid Jade is definitely written by an older person who is angling for a character that is relatable by kids or relatable to kids, but. Yeah, it just comes off as just an asshole. I don't even think kids would like this character.
No. They don't. There's a Japanese article, not a Japanese article, an article about Japanese people's reaction to Resident Evil show, and they've been pretty scathing. It's they call it politically correct hazard instead of biohazard,
okay.
And they're basically saying just give American money to the Japanese creators and they can do a better job.
Well,
and I reckon that they could, man.
I mean,
even though that the CGI shows were probably not that good, I reckon they could do a much better job.
But there must be a reason why Capcom keeps giving
it's just money, man. I reckon there's just some executive head at Capcom who's an out-of-touch old Japanese guy who saw big dollar signs.
I reckon they're trolling.
Netflix.
I reckon they're they love watching these American products fail.
Maybe.
Look at these American idiots try to make something good out of our IP.
I don't know how you can keep making Paul W.S. Anderson look like a legitimate filmmaker.
I mean, yeah, compared to this TV show, those movies are like masterpieces.
Yeah, almost, man.
And I mean,
like,
I've defended those movies in the past, and I defended Paul W.S. Anderson in the past. But yeah, I mean, like with what they have to work with, like the video game like line that they're working with, it should be pretty straightforward to just make something good. But
you don't need to do the whole apocalypse story. you don't need to have like teenage angst like shit. Just make a story about a group of mercenaries or cops trying to escape a facility with fucked up monsters in it. Like that's basically all you really need to do. Maybe you can throw some gunpowder in there, which they did in this show, which is probably the coolest scene in the show.
Yeah, but it's so very random.
it's so absurdly random. But what you get with this show is you just have to take it. Because it's like, well, at least it's entertaining and it looks cool. Because there's so much bad shit. It was pretty
well shot as well. Like, the music choice was a bit odd, but you know that's par for the course for this show.
the music choices. I remember we were talking about like Triple R being like super on the nose. At least in Triple R, the music is kind of like within its culture, and it like makes sense in an artistic manner, I think.
Sure.
In this show, it's just like, it's so fucking on the nose. Like, it's like they're making this really violent TV show for a 10-year-old. Like, there's like no subtlety in this show. And it's just, there's so many dumb decisions. Like, you know, oh, you're infected. Let's go to this party where you might infect like a million other people.
Bizarre.
Which she surprisingly doesn't.
I mean, again, it was like a very angsty move. Like, I think their reasoning just ended up being like, fuck it. And like a lot of the show happens because of that philosophy of just like, fuck it. Which doesn't, like, well, you can't explain like just terrible decisions with that like tautology. I don't care how young you are. Sometimes like common sense should prevail at some point.
It's like, oh yeah. Like, and by this point, Jade has already read a document where it's like, this person has bitten a lot of people. She's like, nah, that's bullshit. Fuck it. Fuck it. And then she doesn't even really get punished for it either, because like nothing happens at the party except Billy does a school skateboard trick.
Yeah.
And listens to K-pop.
Well, I mean, that reporter guy gets captured and tortured as a result.
Yeah.
But,
that's it. But like,
nothing happens to Jade and Billy, I guess.
Yeah. Because I thought that would have been like where the spread of the thingo was going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I was waiting for. I thought the flashbacks, like the past stuff, was going to culminate in the eventual spread of like the apocalypse, but it doesn't really go anywhere. Like I thought at least the two the two timelines would connect at the end, but they don't really.
I feel like someone realized, I feel like it was supposed to be just one timeline, and then they had a future timeline for another season. But I think someone realized nothing fucking happens in this past timeline. So we need to actually make this second timeline. So it's just like the cuts between the past and the future are not seamless at all.
Yeah.
And because you know what happens, there's no tension. So you know Jade is not going to die or get hurt in any of the past timelines. And there's a bit where like Jade's like, oh, my sister died already. You already kind of get that she's speaking metaphorically.
Yeah, because Star Wars did it already.
Because whoever was writing this doesn't know how to write nuance. So, you know, I mean, fuck Dan, we could write a better Resident Evil series than this.
Give us some money, Capcom. We'll make something.
Yeah, we'll do it for a quarter of whatever Netflix paid for this, and we'll give you a much better script easily. Like, I don't understand, like, who... I just want to be in the boardroom when they were like pitching this, and I don't know, like everyone in that room probably had no idea what Resident Evil was, or just a very vague idea.
Sure,
but has never played any of the games.
They read the back of the cover of one of the games.
And I don't think the people would have been particularly that old, because Resident Evil is an old franchise that started in 96, which is like 30 years ago, roughly. So I don't know. It's just bizarre how like fucking terrible this show is.
Did you have any high points for this show?
Yeah, just the episode 4 with the liquors, the spider, and the gun carter scene were probably my favorite moments. And that all happened episode 3 and 4, I think. Which is, like, it's kind of sad because, again, there was potential, you know, for a big budget, violent Resident Evil movie with, like, some decent special effects.
It could have been all that, you know? Because that episode had zombies in it. It had cool gun kata in it, you know. It had all the elements. It had gore. It had all the elements. It had a fucking chainsaw.
It had the Dr. Salvador character from RE4.
All the elements of a good Resident Evil thing. But it was just one little diamond in a sea of just muck and like, teenage angst.
I think the biggest issue really is the writing and the characters, because I've seen some people criticize like this particular show for the main characters having like major plot armor, and it's very true because like, you know what, Jade just jumps off like a 2-story building and lands on a van, and then like her legs are jelly, she's dead. Like she'd be in, but whatever, she survives, and then she hides behind the thingo where there's like a million zombies, and then she just happens to get lucky with that dude, the guy who's like, hey man, you know, if I save you, you save me. And like 1 minute later, but like,
and then I don't. Yeah, that was weird. She was on the top of his car, right? And he was driving towards these spikes, right? And then he stopped right before the spikes. But you know, wouldn't she just keep going forward and just get sliced up with spikes?
Well, I mean, he would have just have not bothered picking her up at all.
Yeah,
like
if he was going to do
like
that.
Left. If he was just like, I don't want anything to do with you, like, why did you have something to do with her in the first place? But like, look, that shit happens in the games where characters do really superhuman things and they survive it.
Sure.
But you kind of accept that because you've seen that Leon is like a kung fu gun kata expert in Resident Evil 4, and Chris Redfield is this like fucking Batista tank man.
He's just a fucking Geodude at this point.
But like it's they all do like inhuman shit in the games, but you like their characters, you know. Even Chris Redfield, who doesn't have that much of a character, you like him, right?
I mean, and it's a different tone in the games as well. I feel like the games...
But there's a point, it shouldn't have a different tone. It shouldn't have... I shouldn't be watching Riverdale's Resident Evil, you know? Like, I should be watching fucking Resident Evil.
On the subject of Jade's plot armor, yeah, you know, in the last episode where all the zombies are rushing that camp, the umbrella camp, and Jade kind of just runs out and like just runs through the zombies.
Yeah, she just runs through them. Yeah, no,
like,
they don't give a shit.
Did they explain why that happens? Why she's able to do that? Or
well, the argument is that the pheromones are attracting the zombies.
Okay.
So the zombies are only going for the pheromones.
But
then that
also
doesn't explain why they're killing.
Guys.
Yeah, so no, you're right. It's a plot hole. It doesn't make sense. It's just like, the part where she does the test with the zombie.
Oh my god, that was
so fucking
that was so
stupid.
irredeemable.
It was so,
like,
but they forgive her. They forgive her.
It's
but
so funny because as soon as that character was like, yeah, just wait 2 weeks, I was like, She's not gonna wait 2 weeks. She's gonna do something fucking stupid. And lo and behold, she rows out and gets an underwater zombie, turns her back immediately to that zombie, almost gets bitten in the process, and then brings it on board that ship to get her friend killed.
Yeah, and it's like, why does she hold a gun? Like, for people who are probably listening to this and don't want to watch Resident Evil, she basically finds like I guess kind of like a cure or a solution for the zombies, and they're doing like a test. She's doing a test with her friend who's pregnant, and her friend is like, oh yeah, we'll probably need to get permission from the higher up, so it might take a couple of weeks. And then I think Jade at this point is probably thinking, my sister is gonna turn pretty soon because she doesn't have that much time. I think this is her reasoning. Okay. This is why I think
it's pretty presumptuous, Tavi.
This is why I think, because like before, like Billy, because she reunites with future Billy, who's
I guess she did say something along those lines, didn't she?
Yeah, like her like future Billy is like magically hot and Asian all of a sudden. So she says she's running out of time because of the T-virus. So this is my, you know what? See, that's the thing. I'm doing the work for the writers myself. This is why I think she does this really dumb choice of bringing a zombie on board that's been like, that's like lame. It's not moving because it's cold. So I guess zombies function on hot weather. But yeah, she ties it up with these really like barely like strength ratchet strap things, and you're like, this motherfucking zombie's gonna break out of that. Then her daughter comes in, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on? Watch, just stand over here. Don't come.
Watch this.
I'll be like,
I'm gonna do this really dangerous experiment with you in the room.
Yeah, with you, who I care about the most in the world. You just stand there. Just watch, man. I'll be like, get the fuck out of here, And then lo and behold, the zombie like breaks off its chains and tries to chase the daughter, and then like it runs outside, and it shows like a medium close up of her pregnant friend, and I just laughed. Like I knew she was gonna die, and then the zombie like jumps on her and like bites her neck, and I was just laughing like out loud watching this supposedly sad scene, and I was just laughing because
it's important to remember, like up to that point, every episode had ended with Jade getting someone killed. So this was like her friend as well. So it's like the icing on the cake just for her to do this stupid thing that gets her pregnant friend killed. Her friend was pregnant as well. So that's two victims to Jade.
And you know what? The ship doesn't even care that she did that. She's just basically, because Umbrella come, and then she, for whatever plan, they're like, I know I fucked up, but I won't do it again, kind of thing. Yeah. And they're like, all right. And then it's like, yeah, that's cool, man. No, don't worry about it. They don't give a fuck that, like, one of their best scientists is dead now.
Well, I mean, her husband or partner tried to shoot Jade, so that guy cared.
Oh, did he? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, he was like, "You did this," and then grabbed a gun and tried to shoot Jade. But
oh yeah, that guy. I remember that guy, but he probably doesn't give a fuck anymore. You're never going to see that guy ever again.
Yeah. It's not important. It's the Jade show, Tavi. It's the Jade show.
And like even like going further back to the gun carter dude, the guy performing the gun carter is like supposed to be this like unlikable dude that's trying to capture Jade. But then they actually end up making him likable. Yeah. Which is like, you fucked up in your writing. You're not supposed to like this guy. But like, then he does this really cool action scene. And then like, I wanted to see Jade have a cool, even though I didn't like her, I wanted to have her do a cool action scene with the chainsaw. So I'm like, yeah, go for it, man. Just do some cool shit. But all she does is cut the head off the Screecher zombie, like the queen zombie that controls the other. It's just like they fucked up. You want us to make first of all, they wanted to make her a strong character, so they had the opportunity to do that, and they didn't. And they wanted,
for no reason as well. Like, there's no reason for them to make the chainsaw run out of gas or whatever at the end. It's just, I don't know. it's just baffling. It's a baffling choice.
Maybe they did shoot it.
Yeah,
maybe they did shoot a scene, but it was too violent or something.
Yeah, I guess
so they just
that's
left
possible.
it on the cutting room floor. But like that's the whole point. Like Resident Evil is not a series for kids.
And she'd already chopped off one head. Like, what's another head or another a few zombies gonna do to your rating? You know, like
or sure, zeros as they're called.
Yeah, they don't say zombies, do they? Do they say zombies in the Resident Evil games?
Yeah, they do. I was playing it today, and they're like, "Oh, I killed a few zombies here." I'm like, just call them zombies, man. Like you don't have to like dick around. Like,
yeah, I wonder why they changed it in this show.
It's a trope, like that they don't like calling zombies. But
it's not a trope of Resident Evil.
Yeah, there you go, Dad. They didn't, I'm pretty sure they didn't even bother. I mean, it's weird because one of I think it was episode 5 where it was like probably a more interesting episode. It takes place entirely in the past. And it's the two girls like finding stuff out about their house. Yeah, like they're solving these puzzles. And stuff,
yeah.
which is kind of cool. A bit stupid, but kind of cool.
Fucking
but
stupid,
it's also,
Darby.
But it's also the worst episode as well. I think
it was such a waste of time. Like
it was also the worst episode.
The setup
like it had
was
the most interesting ideas, but it was the worst episode.
They had to solve like a little scavenger hunt that their father had set for them in case he got captured, so that they could find like a get out bag in that was hidden in their house. So like they're going around their house finding these clues that lead them to the next clue, but they also have to dodge like security cameras that are embedded in their smart devices, like their TV and fridge and stuff. But why though? Like I can understand how that would be fun to do maybe in a game, and how it would be fun for the actors to do like as they're acting, but it's really not fun to watch, is it?
Yeah. Well, I was pretty sure I was making lunch at the same time, so I wasn't even watching it. I was just half, because like I was just saying before, it has interesting ideas, but it's the worst episode.
It was so
because it
weird.
takes place
like they could just walk down the stairs to the next clue, but because they have to dodge all the devices, it takes fucking 10 minutes for them to get to the next clue. Like it really felt like they were just padding for runtime at that point. I don't know, man. Like I get that maybe they were going for something that was along the same lines of the game, like solving cryptic clues and whatnot.
I think so, yeah.
And yeah, I get that, but like why
Doesn't really
add in
translate.
that dodging element? I don't like. They could have just taken that out, and they would have had more room for other stuff. But maybe they just didn't have any other stuff to put in that episode.
It's getting late. Well, the series, even though you'd be surprised that it got worse after episode 4, with already how bad the show is. Like it was just boring. Like it was so fucking boring.
After that episode, the past timeline got more interesting. Like once the reveal of the Wesker clones came out, I feel like the past timeline got more interesting than the future timeline.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. They were both pretty shit still.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe it was just we got to see a bit more of Lance Reddick act.
We should probably talk about the head of Umbrella. What's her character's name?
Evelyn Marcus.
She was definitely having fun with
she
her
was all right.
performance.
I think she was one of the better aspects of the show. The actress Paula Nunez.
Yeah. I think, she was having fun, but I think I didn't enjoy her performance that much. But that's because there's so many unlikable characters in this show that it's just like
adding one to the pile.
Depth of unlikableness to it. Because she does play like an evil Umbrella head pretty well.
Yeah.
But like then they try to humanize her.
Right.
With like she's got a son and a wife.
Yeah.
And again, this is where it's like I feel like the show is just throwing in LGBTQ themes for the sake of it.
There's nothing wrong with layering a character with human elements, though.
I don't want to know more about. You're the umbrella head. You're just a fucking douchebag CEO.
I feel like one of the
I didn't give a shit.
The
highlights
shit was when actually I didn't mind the side plot of her drugging her wife. I feel like outside of a Resident Evil property that would have worked quite well, because it was kind of eerie, like her wife like acting all weird and cutting herself but not feeling anything. And then she had that confrontation with her son on the phone, how he was like, she goes, "You don't know what you want, you're a child." And then he's like, "Fuck you." And like there was a bit of emotion in that scene until...
No, I didn't feel anything for any of that shit. Like, in a better series, yeah, sure, go for it. In a Resident Evil series, I'm not looking for,
human characters.
Complicated. I'm not looking for like that much complicated drama. You know, you don't have that much story to really work with.
Yeah, I mean, it is unnecessary, I guess, in a zombie.
She kind of just runs. She just kind of runs into the facility to the wife just comes in just to say,
I'm your wife.
Yeah, that's it. That's the only, and it's so fucking clunky. Like, why not have her, if they wanted to go the humanistic route, why not have her come home, Because she does go home. You see them at home together doing stuff. Whatever that fucking thing was. But, like, it's just the way they did it was so inorganic. And it's just like, I feel like they were trying to hit a beat. And it's just like, we just have to have this character come in now. And it's just... I don't know, it's just dumb. And yeah, there's obviously the very infamous Dua Lipa scene, dance number. Yeah,
that was weird,
I was like, what? I actually saw that before I watched the episode. I was watching like someone review the show and like they put this clip, and I'm like, what is the context of this scene? Because I didn't know it was mind control.
Sure.
I was like,
and I feel like that reveal felt really flat as well for some reason. I feel like that should have been more of a reveal than it was. But yeah, maybe it was just because the dance sequence was so weird that it was just like, what? Wait, what? And then
well, yeah, like
also they don't really explain why she's able to mind control people now, but I guess that's something for season 2 to dive into.
But then they kind of just made up the rules like halfway through, because it's during the flashing lights demonstration with the pill when like Albert is trying to not push the thing forward or something, and then like Evelyn's like, we can control people using this drug because they respond to this light.
Okay, sure.
But then like all of a sudden Billy is just on a tablet.
Yeah.
And actually, going back to Billy again, I mean, I know this show was going for diversity, right? And I feel like, because when I was watching the show and you see adult Billy, I'm like, why is she Asian all of a sudden? Like, that's what I immediately noticed. I'm like, that's weird. And then I kind of did a bit of research, and I looked at the actresses that played them, and I think the one who was playing past Billy is Hawaiian, and the future Billy, I think she's half German, half Chinese. Like, she's a Hong Kong actress.
Okay.
And I feel like Netflix were like, we wanted her to be Asian at first because we want to promote diversity. But then they're like, wait a minute, how are white people going to relate if there's no white people on the show? So they've turned her into Billie Eilish and made this character look extremely, like, basically whitewashed. And this is just a theory of mine. Like, this is just based on like why I think these two, I don't know, does the T virus just like make you Asian and hot all of a sudden?
Well, I mean, it's possible. I mean, it could be that just these two actresses happen to have the best auditions at the time.
Well, I mean, like, I think me, you, and Boone, I think we talked in one of our Matrix episodes, or like, Hollywood just doesn't like casting Asian leads unless they're like Asian American or half Asian. Like they don't. I mean, a lot of Hollywood will spout that, like, yeah, we love,
unless
Asians
it's a
and shit.
movie that's all about Asians. Yeah, I think you're
but
right,
like
right?
they don't like to do it. I mean, like this is nothing against like half ethnicities. I was going to use another term, but that's kind of mean. I got to be careful because I'm drinking. But like, I feel like Hollywood hates Asians still, because unless it's about an all Asian family, like they're not gonna give us the light of day. Which it kind of pissed me off a bit. I'm like, man, like you spout so much shit about like inclusion, but you secretly hate us, and that's just it just kind of annoys me a bit. Just like they're just like, I don't know, someone might have read an article where it's like, oh, if you make her look too Asian, that's like fetishizing. Like, just embrace like how Asians are. It's I don't know.
I mean, it shouldn't really matter at the end of the day. These two characters are clones or whatever, right? It's like the character doesn't even need to be Asian, really. But
there's no Asians in this show.
Yeah.
Except Billy, future Billy.
Sure.
I just realized this show that's based off a Japanese property doesn't have any Asians, even though Resident Evil is not based on
Jade's
specifically.
Is Asian, I think.
Oh yeah. He's I think he's pretty popular. I was reading some article. I think he's a Pakistani actor. I'm not sure. You'd have to check it out.
No,
but
you're right.
I think he's
Ahad Raza Mia is a Pakistani actor. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of people were like pretty excited that he was going to be on this show because he's a pretty big deal. Unfortunately, he's on the worst TV show of the year. Like,
sure.
Actually, second worst. Bling Empire season 2 is worse.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say. I mean, at least in Resident Evil, I was entertained.
Okay.
With zombies and violence.
I feel like I was more entertained with Bling Empire. But okay. Agree to disagree.
Yeah. Resident Evil hurts more than Bling Empire because like it's Resident Evil. But like I would rather watch Resident Evil again over Bling Empire because that show is just really boring. Like nothing happens. And like I don't like reality TV. That's just
Sure.
That's just me.
I guess the mains are equally unlikable, so they're pretty on par.
It's weird because Netflix has. This is going back to the, like when Netflix makes it in the East, it's better. I mean, Netflix made All of Us Are Dead, which is an infinitely better show than Resident Evil. I know you didn't like it that much, but.
It's better.
It's so much. But the thing is, like, All of Us Are Dead has that high school drama element to it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the characters are likable. You want to see them succeed.
Yeah, not all
and
of
even
them,
the
but even when they're unlikable, they're at least entertaining.
Thing, like, even when they're unlikable, like going back to, I think Nayeon was a character.
Yeah.
The one that played by Lee Yu-mi.
Yeah.
She's super unlikable, but then she has her arc, and then it's taken from her and it's tragic. Whereas like if Jade had died at the end of Resident Evil season 1, I'd be like and then I'd just go to sleep and just forget about it.
Not great. Maybe they should have made their main character a bit more likable, eh?
But even just like in terms of stuff happening, like All of Us Are Dead had these amazing set pieces with probably a quarter of the budget that Resident Evil had.
And crucially, we could actually see what was going on when there was action. This show was so poorly lit, and I know it's to mask like bad special effects, but still though, like. Take some of the money away from your music budget and put it into like special effects that can withstand good lighting, and maybe you'll have a better show. That's all I'm saying.
I would say like take some of the music budget, put it into your R&D and writing department. Like, it makes such a massive difference because, like, yeah, the show was really dark visually, but it looks okay. Like, I've seen worse stuff. Like, Senior Year looked worse than this. Senior Year looked really cheap, which I haven't seen yet. Only from our monthly video. But like, yeah, just I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that you can fix this show.
Well, they want to bring in Ada Wong. They want to bring in
Ada Wong always
characters.
appears for sequel bait alone, because people want to see Ada Wong appear in stuff, so they just drop her at the end of a show or movie and hope that that'll be enough to garner a sequel. But it never is, Tavi.
Nah, it's because Hollywood hates Asians, man. They don't want to cast Ada Wong. Like,
they think fans like Ada Wong though, and they probably do. But
fans do like Ada Wong. Yeah, but nah, Hollywood hates Asians. So.
Yeah,
that's but that might be the alcohol talking. But I think they do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially
speaking of, like, it might not just be Hollywood either, because I was watching, as I mentioned previously, I was watching the Neighbours series finale today.
Oh, and
I was thinking, not really a diverse cast in this one, is it? And this is like
all
the cast members are coming back, and I'm like, where's the diversity at?
No, Australian media, Australian mainstream media hates Asians even more than Hollywood.
No, we got Gold Mountain now, so
New Gold Mountain,
so we're good.
I told you I watched the first like 10 minutes. Of that show, and the production values are pretty good, but I just didn't finish watching it because
you hate Asians, Tavi. You hate
I hate Asians. I hate Crazy Rich Asians. I hate Asians.
You hate Bling Empire. You hate Asians.
Yeah, I'm just like, what's the I forgot the word. I don't know. I forgot a lot of things because like,
maybe you'll forget this show that we spent an hour talking about.
Yeah. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
So, like, do you reckon there's going to be a season 2? Because I don't think so. Because it's basically gone down the same path as Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, it seems like a Cowboy Bebop situation. Yeah, I don't think it'll get a season 2. I don't think there's much love in this for this show with critics and fans alike.
I challenge you to find anyone in your friendship group that has seen this show and liked it.
Challenge accepted. I reckon I can find someone. Or I reckon I can find someone that will at least say, yeah, it's all right. It's fun.
But like, we always say taste is subjective. But like, I don't know, if I met someone,
I think you might be too close to this IP as well, though, Tavi. I think it's just, you're just wrong. If you didn't know anything about Resident Evil, do you think you'd enjoy something like this? Just if you liked zombies, but you didn't know anything about Resident Evil, would you enjoy this show?
Probably not. Still, I like high school dramas, like a lot of the Asian ones. But like this kind of like Dawson's Creek-esque One Tree Hill CW drama, just not for me. And I've never liked them since ever growing up. Because I remember when I was in high school, a lot of my friends were like talking about Gossip Girl, Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill, and I would just like agree, like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. But like in my mind, I'm like, these shows are just they're not good. Like, I can understand why people enjoy them, but I just never liked it. I always thought it was like just rich people complaining about things.
Sure.
Or like, pretty people
this show,
complaining about things.
This show isn't that, though. There's more to it than that. A lot of it is that, but
it shouldn't be there, Dad. It should not be It should not be in my Resident Evil, you know. And I can see
fair.
like at least Paul W. Anderson delivered on the absurd action point of it, even though he was probably taking it too far and like just wanting to showcase Mila Jovovich, but at least he kept that aspect of the entertaining part of Resident Evil, even though he completely fucked up Monster Hunter, one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Nah, it's pretty good. I reckon. I think it's good.
It's a horrible movie.
I'm eagerly awaiting its sequel.
It might get one. It was successful in streaming services.
Yeah, because it's
like,
good, Tavi.
It's not good. It's not. It's just not good, Dan. It's objectively like you shouldn't even like, you know, when you can rate stuff on Netflix and there's a thumbs up, and there shouldn't even be the option to give it a thumbs up. It should just be grayed out and just like thumbs down.
Because it requires no validation because it's that good.
No, it's rubbish.
Anyway,
I gave this Resident Evil series a thumbs down. Like, I watched it.
I didn't even know that was a function, but... Okay.
No, you can put it there. Like, after episode 3, I was just like, I'll give it a
Maybe
thumbs
that's
down.
what Netflix is using as its algorithm to whether or not they renew TV shows. But there's some kind of glitch that makes it flipped. But anyway, do you have anything else to say about this TV show?
Zootopia porn and SpongeBob.
Yeah, because that's relatable to kids, right?
Yeah.
Bizarre. Who wrote this show?
Was
it a bot? Do you think it was a bot that wrote those lines?
A bot can actually come up with more entertaining stuff than this. Netflix does have like a series on YouTube where it's like a bot wrote a horror movie or a bot wrote, and they're actually pretty funny.
Yeah.
But they're probably not written by bots.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay.
This show was written by capitalism. I think. Yeah. This show is a product, and without the Resident Evil license, it just would have been banished.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of people say like, oh yeah, why don't you just make a new IP? And they should, but Netflix knows without the Resident Evil name, no one's gonna give a fuck about this show.
Yeah, we wouldn't have watched it.
I would have just watched the first episode and just like been like, nah, that's it. Not wasting my time.
I have not watched some zombie things on Netflix that seem like they're a lot better than this show. Like like what's that?
Kingdom.
Yeah.
Happiness. Happiness is really good actually. We're gonna cover that. I was actually watching Happiness in tandem with Resident Evil because I needed a buffer. And like the major thing is like Happiness is a much slower show, but likable characters. Happiness is pretty interesting. I'm not sure if you'd like it that much.
Okay.
Because there's a massive allegory towards COVID.
Okay.
But the way it tackles zombies is pretty interesting.
But crucially, does it have any Billie Eilish songs in it? Because that's pretty important to me and my enjoyment of watching a TV show.
No, you need the song where it's like at the end of the episode when the character betrays him, like, you betrayed my heart, and now I'm really upset, and then I'm gonna kill all the others.
If I don't hear that song, Tavi, how will I know it's the end of the episode? How will I know how to feel, Tavi?
I feel like Resident Evil was written for people. You know, there's people that you watch movies with and they're like, a character has clearly died on screen, but then they ask you, did that character just die? Did that person just get into the car? That's what that's the level of writing, and it's just like, yeah,
it's not
I was
good.
like, that character just die? Yes. It's sad because I've actually I know some friends who I'm pretty good friends with, and they like to
everybody knows somebody like that. Yeah. It's fine.
So, no shade on you. I think it's I'm still gonna blame the writers of the show. Fuck, this show was bad, man.
I'm gonna blame whichever Japanese executive keeps selling the rights to America.
I reckon that's just some rogue Japanese guy who likes watching Americans fuck up Japanese properties. Just stop doing that.
Look at how shit this is.
It's like fucking like Yamate Kudasai.
They paid us to make this. Oh God,
so bad. Like this show, like ugh.
How did you feel about this? Did you enjoy Resident Evil, the Netflix series? Which song was your favorite? Let us know. You can get in touch with us at 2asianblokes@gmail.com. You can join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation, or you can follow us on Instagram at 2asianblokes to see what we're up to.
Fuck this show is so bad,
it's
man.
fucking rubbish.
Like, yeah, it's probably good that you ended it, because I'm not gonna stop. Because like I'm just gonna keep drinking.
Yeah,
and be like, this show's so bad.
It's
like,
so good.
It's like what did Boone say about our Everything Everywhere episode that we were like jizzing? It's like us jizzing how good it was.
Yeah,
I think this episode is like the opposite. I think
like
this
the
is
jizz is coming back into our bodies.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first, because we've reviewed a few shows where we have hated it, but we haven't welled. I think this is the most I've ever welled on a show.
Definitely the most aggressive episode we've had.
All right, I think I better. Yeah. I'm going to finish this one off podcast.
I can't wait till the next terrible Resident Evil thing to come out. Because we're going to watch them all, aren't we, Tari? Resident Evil can never make something so bad that we won't watch it.
Yeah,
that's the two Asian blokes guarantee.
Yeah. All right,
guys, take it easy.
See you later, guys.